One of my favorite verses is 1 Peter 3:15. In that verse, Peter says, "Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give a reason for the hope that you have." And I've used this verse countless times in order to remind myself and others of a few things. One, Peter assumes that our lives are in fact different. Two, that others will notice that we have hope when the rest of the world has lost it. And three, we need to be ready so that we will take hold of the opportunity that is provided by that realization to tell them about the good news of Jesus Christ. But for all the times that I've used this verse, I've never really paid attention to the broader context. Peter begins in verse 8 by challenging followers of Christ to be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate, and humble. He then goes on to say, do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. Is it possible that what he assumes people will notice and question is why we respond differently to adversity and to attacks than people who are not followers of Christ? And that makes me wonder if the reason more people are not asking me to explain the reason for the hope that I have is because I, many times, respond the same way as the rest of the world, by repaying evil with evil or insult with insult. Sadly, I'm hard-pressed to come up with a time when I sought to be a blessing, even to someone who had a different view or opinion than me, let alone someone who is actually seeking to do evil toward me. When I say I am a follower of Christ, I mean that he sets an example for me to follow, and I actually, by the empowering of the Holy Spirit, follow his example. Jesus prayed to God to extend mercy and grace to the people who were actually physically taking his life when he said those words, "Father, forgive them, for they don't realize what they're doing." Is that an example that I'm willing to follow? I suppose if I'm going to continue to say that I'm a follower of Christ, I need to continually ask the question, am I following the example Christ gave me? When we live the way Christ lived, we will look different, and people will notice.